Long time no see. We're back once again. I'm Rumble,
I'm the Gazoo.
and once again we're here to talk some sports.
Better than you.
So, brother, it's been a while, but you know what? I like these ones that it's been a while because everything gets to, so to speak, build up. We said we would talk it, you know, right around the end of the Bruins season. We're now to the end. Not only that, to the end of the Bruins, the end of the Celtics. Where it mid tonight is the legit mid-season point of the MLB season, and we're 2.5 weeks strong outside of Patriots camp starting, and people starting to roll on in for the basically the start of the 2023 season. But you know what the most important thing about tonight is on the agenda?
Something to do with a anniversary.
That's right. 1 year ago, we thought of it, and we're like, we might as well start this little sports format. Ever since we've been buddies, we always talk sports. We've always either A, agreed, or B, we've had some of the best non-agreeing discussions. And, why not bring it to a platform? And that we've done. And in year two, all we can do is grow, and I can finally figure out how to get this freaking thing to different platforms. But, you know, things are going good as it is. But let's, before further ado, and any tears are shed and things of that nature, let's go on to, and I call it your subject, which is the Boston Bruins. But look, I am wearing original six. The one thing I'd like to say tonight, one thing before you get into it, I don't know if you heard, but you probably did because you're a season ticket holder. One thing I'm excited on
Don't say it.
is the 100th anniversary of the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're going to be wearing a lot of different uniforms, and there's a special commemorative 100th anniversary edition for this year's Boston Bruins.
Yeah, so 100. Let's. I mean, it's a centennial year. It's gonna be fun. It'll be exciting. Unfortunately, it did not. It's not going to start with raising of a banner that probably should have happened. But as they say in hockey, all it takes is one team and one goalie to get hot, and they'll bring you all the way to the Stanley Cup. So, we're about to start. Tonight is actually the NHL draft.
Yeah, we're not drafted till tomorrow.
The no draft. They have 5 picks tomorrow, but nothing today.
Yeah.
And then, free agency starts Saturday.
Yeah.
July 1st. We've already traded Taylor Hall, which, not going to lie, I understand why, but not happy with the trade. Not when, you played 158 games. You scored 114 points in 158 games. It's pretty good. Probably one of the best skaters on the team. And the kid was a grinder, and he was well liked in the locker room.
I think a lot of it, he was. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that he became a third liner.
He didn't become a third liner. He was put on the third line. There's a difference. He's not a third liner. It's just they kept. He became very flexible, but at the end of the day, I go back to blaming. It's a typical. This is the long-term ramifications of Don Sweeney contracts that are biting them in the ass. When you're paying Brandon Carlo $5 million a year, when you're paying Matt Grzelcyk $4 million a year, and you're paying these people millions of dollars a year that you do not get the same numbers out of. If you pay somebody $5 million a year, you should be getting 20 goals and 30 assists. And you're lucky.
So then let me ask you the questions then, because, I think this would be a good thing. Let me talk to you about the Bruins. Let me ask you, with the way the season with the before I can see that you didn't get into this little hinder of a note that has been talked about or by NHL aficionado that Milan Lucic is
I was going to
more
bring it up. No, I was going to bring
okay.
that up after,
Okay,
as well as potential trade.
so yes, I'm going to ask you: is it disappointing? And do you believe that guys should have been rested? And if they were rested, do you think it would have helped any? Or was it just the simple fact that they're saying Allmark had a broken foot?
No, I think the mistake was you don't change what gets you to the dance, right? If you are a boxer and you're a southpaw and you fight southpaw your entire life, and then you go into the big fight, and they tell you, no, you gotta fight standard orthodox. You don't fight. You're not gonna fight southpaw. You don't change.
Yep.
You stay fighting southpaw. Bruins all year long did a goalie tandem.
Yep.
You don't change that going into the playoffs. I know a lot of people say, no, you go with a hot goalie, and I agree, or you go with one goalie. It's not what got the bruins to the dance, and Ullmark was not ready. And to be quite honest with you, there was a lot of juggling, too much juggling of the lines.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, they got beat by a team that got hot, and the Bruins played sloppy. Bad coaching, good. I mean, he's a good coach, but bad coaching decisions in the playoffs. Guys not showing up when they needed to show up. And that's what happens. That's hockey.
I know that
it sucked.
I know that at times I'm not the biggest hockey aficionado,
Mhm.
but I do know this. I know that last year Florida was one of the top teams in the NHL.
They were the best team in the East.
And I do know that they were injured for a lot of their top guys were injured for most of the year. They started to get their guys back, say 20 to 25 games left in the year, and they were one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs. And if there's one thing I tell people, young sports fans or sports fans alike, what sets hockey and basketball aside from any of the other playoffs is that it's a tournament. It's not. So I play you, say, 4 times in a year. We don't play that in a row with anything theoretically on the line.
Right.
And when you get into the NHL or NBA playoffs, it's 7 games. And it's so different. That's why I believe you can. You may beat me one night, but I have the next night to counter what you threw at me. Whereas during the regular season, you could own me. But what if theoretically I know that come 7 nights in a row, you can't handle what we have? I think it was a little bit of that, and the fact that Florida was a really good team, and I don't think the Bruins themselves are probably ever underestimated. I think the hockey world itself was blind to the fact that saying, do you know? I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest hockey aficionado, but I knew that Florida was going to be a hot out. I knew
I didn't want to
were.
play Florida.
I knew they were.
The team I hope they were able to get in the playoffs was Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was they were a mess. Florida had won, I think it was like 10 out of their last 12 to get in. They were hot. They were a tough team. They had already given the Bruins fits during the regular season. So, it is what it is at this point. And now we're looking at, free agency about to hit us.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a couple of things about it. Lucic is going to be nothing more than 2 things. I get it. It's a nostalgia move. It's Luch. He's coming back to likely finish his career as a Bruin.
Yeah.
But He will be nothing more than a fourth line guy.
There we go.
With
I want
limited
good,
minutes.
good.
He's there ultimately to do one thing, and that's just kind of bang. Be a banger, be a goon in a way. Kind of keep the law on the ice. There is currently rumors of trade talks between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Boston Bruins for Linus Ullmark. The Bruins do need to likely make another trade. That is the trade you're gonna get the most reward out of.
But what are you getting out of Pittsburgh if you don't mind me asking? What's gonna
draft picks because you're looking for a salary dump?
Yep.
I would prefer. I would like to see them trade him along with, say, Brandon Carlo, to try to get a player and draft picks in return, so you can do a salary dump as well as get some picks and a player. But nothing's come across yet. The Bruins you cannot do what you did. You cannot commit that kind of money to both Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark. Swayman's probably going to get about $4.5 million. He'll get an offer sheet for $4.5 million. He is a restricted free agent, but the kid's going to be a number one on somebody's team.
Yeah. So
if I was a GM, if I was the GM of the Bruins, I would be shopping Ullmark because he is at the highest, he's the Vezina winner.
Would you be shocked, if both goalies would have go?
No, that's never going to happen.
Okay.
Bruins.
Hear this. I know that you don't want to believe that, but there's been rumors out there that quite possibly you could see Ullmark moved, and then because Swayman has come out and said that he would like to be closer to his home in Alaska, and quite possibly he would be traded.
Not happening.
I know. Listen,
no. When I tell you it's not happening, it's not happening for a reason. Because Swayman's a restricted free agent. So because he's a restricted free agent, the Bruins can match any offer. Now, in hockey, unlike any other sport, restricted free agents.
Shit.
What's that?
Somehow, this fucking stupid fucking my are you there?
I'm here.
All right, I might lose you.
Why? What happened?
Man, for some reason, Hulu popped up on my screen.
Oh, okay. So, anyways,
all right. So
yes,
and anyways, the Swayman thing would be goalie for goalie going to Winnipeg.
It ain't happening.
I'm just I listen.
It ain't happening.
I believe one goalie does go because you
believe one goalie goes,
especially now hearing that Bertuzzi has come out to say that he wants to test the free agent market.
Yep, and I'm going to tell you right now, if Bertuzzi hits the free agent market, you can kiss him goodbye.
I hear him and Orlov are number one at each of their positions.
Orlov, Sweeney already said it's highly unlikely Orlov would return to the Bruins.
So everyone
has Orlov going back to Washington.
So hear this. So what we essentially did is we traded away things that we have and no longer have, and we're no longer going to have what we traded for. And what we've ultimately came away with this is having the greatest season in NHL history, getting bounced in the first round and winning 3 awards at last night's NHL awards ceremony, which is being sliced and diced on every major sports market about how bad of a show that thing was.
Yeah, well, it's only an award show, so
yeah. It's the NHL.
I'm just gonna end the hockey talk on this. That is the price you pay when you go all in. I don't fault the Bruins for going all in. I liked every move they made. What I don't like is we've now traded Taylor Hall, and I liked him. And if we're not gonna if we're not gonna keep Bertuzzi, then we have a problem.
Isn't there a kid down in the minors that scored 30 goals this year?
They have a couple of kids in the minors, but that doesn't mean nothing. They're not NHL tested players.
Yeah. I know, but I know that. But maybe it's time for them to come up and prove a little bit. But
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
You need. Hey, Hall is a first.
I know.
Is a
I like
first second line wing. Bertuzzi, first second line wing. You're gonna let both go? So we'll see. I'll tell you right now. If Sweeney does not come away with signing Bertuzzi, his head's gonna be on a chopping block. The fans are gonna go nuts.
I honestly believe the fans have every right to go nuts with the way things happen to work out anyways.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, the Bruins fans are very smart.
I know
especially when it comes to trades. But you know who else is quote unquote smart with trades? Marcus Smart and the Boston Celtics.
All right. So, anyways, I'm going to get into my whole Bruins because I didn't get to say. I want to first say I thought the Bruins had a great season this year. Obviously, as a Bruins fan, when you sit back and you look at the limelight and you understand sports in general, and to get back to something I've always said, the hottest team going into the tournament is a dangerous team, and you don't want to face them, and the Bruins faced a dangerous team, and that's what happens.
That's the difference between hockey and basketball. Basketball, you don't eat. Sometimes the hottest team still ain't gonna pull it out. Usually in basketball, it's
the hottest team this year did pull it out. Almost did pull it out in the NBA, and that was the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat took down the 1 and 2 seeds, both in the East.
But you just said a key word. Almost.
Yes.
That counts in horseshoes and days, my friend.
Yes, and Florida almost took down the not the Kraken, the Knights. Yes, Vegas Knights. So anyways, I thought it was listen, I think the Bruins are just like the Celtics to a certain extent. They both are questioning roster movement with coming into the next season. I think the Celtics more than the Bruins right now, and that wouldn't be this season, but next season because of the new collective bargaining agreement in the NBA. If you got Tatum under a max deal, which he is under, and Jaylen Brown agrees to a max extension,
$120 million a player, right?
No, it takes up to 75% of their salary cap, which means their undercard, so to speak, doesn't look all that great with 25%.
Let's talk about.
Hear this out. I just want to say this to end, okay? And this is just because these are the athletes that I believe are in today's world. And that's why I think by generation it's different. So people who compare Bird's era or Neely's era, or you know what I'm saying, things were different then. Things were different. The make of the player was different then. The make of the coach was different then. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say this: the Bruins had Claude Julien, and at one point in time, he was great at the beginning, and then he wore, and we had to get rid of him. And then came the Bruce Cassidy. Everybody loved him, and still everybody loved him, except for the players. And there were certain fans that do question the fact that why did we get rid of Bruce? But the case may be the case. It is what it is. They got rid of Bruce Cassidy, okay? And this dude came in this year, Monty, record year, coach of the year. But if you think of it this way, they went from a guy who was Claude Julien, was a hard nosed. And I know you say, well, there's really not many players that are on that team that experience Claude. But this is what I'm going to say. Claude was so hard that everybody thought Bruce was an easygoing guy, and they loved him. And then
That's
all
why
of
they
us,
got rid of Claude.
Listen,
not why they got rid of Claude.
I'm
they
not
got rid of Claude because Claude was too defensive.
But yes, his defensive mind. They were handcuffed. Let me finish. A lot of guys felt handcuffed because they had to play the defensive way. Yes, I understand. I'm just making a quick retro out of this. Okay. Cassidy came in. He let them guys take their hair down and play a better way, okay? Yep. And to me, he's more of a player's coach than what a Claude Julien is. Claude Julien, to me, is an old-school French guy that doesn't, you know what I mean, would run into a brick wall without a helmet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Cassidy is not a player's coach.
Well,
Jim Montgomery is a player's coach. Cassidy is the complete opposite.
He let them play a little with a little less restraint.
No, it wasn't that.
I felt the what's that? The morale of the locker room. Maybe it was just the fresh point of having a new face in the locker room. Was it? But either way, it just shows that today's athlete does not really succumb to the old school style of coaching. I think Montgomery got over very well with these guys because Montgomery has the experience, and it's not even the NFL experience. It's being around the younger guys because of his college experience. And I think that's what makes him gel rather well with some of these dudes. And it has
Can I end this? Because I'm just going to put it to you this way.
I'm going into the Celts right now. Hear me out.
No. Just you have to understand something, right? When it comes to coaching,
I do.
I'm going to tell you this much. When it comes to coaching in hockey, okay? Montgomery did what Cassidy couldn't do with with the exact same team.
Yeah.
That team did not change until towards the end of the year. So
I'm not saying that.
Let's transition to the Celtics because let me ask you this question. Two questions, same person, Marcus Smart. Let's start with the Marcus Smart trade.
I don't want to go there yet. I want to tell you this. I am going to go there.
No, hear me out.
I'm just letting you know. I just think that team is soft. I thought the team was
soft.
Soft.
And they just traded their hardest player. But I'm going to ask you the question as two questions. One, were you shocked that it was Marcus Smart? And two, does the trade have something to do with the way Marcus Smart handled himself and as him thinking he was, quote unquote, like, I want to say the captain of the team? Because he was very boisterous and he said it like it was sometimes. And I feel that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are two divas that can't handle what Marcus Smart did. I'm asking you, turning it over to you now.
Yes. So anyways, that's why hear me out. The water that is shared in TD Garden is definitely drank by both teams.
Okay. All right, go ahead. So let's hear it.
To a softness degree, yes, both teams are soft. Sorry.
Hockey players are not soft compared to basketball players.
Okay.
But let's transition into basketball.
See, that's where we don't I understand you got to be tough to play hockey. I know that. I understand that. I totally agree. But their toughness was not
It's the
there.
every
You're gonna
player is the
tell
same way
me,
now.
that in Game 7 of that NHL playoff game that team showed up? Come on,
No,
man.
but they were already out of it. They were done.
Come on, dude.
Hey, whoa. I didn't say that. It has nothing to do with softness.
It was
They got
soft.
outplayed.
That's right.
Softness is the guys that showed up to Game 7 against Miami and did absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
That's soft.
Absolutely, and I ate that up. If you've seen any of my reactions and stuff about the Celtics, I absolutely ate the Celtics up and how soft Jason Tatum
All right,
was.
let's get into the Celtics talk. Let's get into it now. Come on.
Absolutely, I got no problem right now telling you how I fucking put up on numerous people's
I want to hear
pages
him first.
that Jason Tatum, wants to call himself Batman when he couldn't be Robin, he ain't Commissioner Gordon, he couldn't even be Alfred the motherfucking Butler. So please don't I won't sugarcoat what the Celtics did this year. All right. I will not sugarcoat that.
Let's talk. All right. So let's get into the market because look, the big thing here is the Marcus Smart.
I'll tell you this right now. I got no problem with the fact that Marcus Smart got traded. All right. Why? Because things ain't working the way they are. As long as you keep one of the two J's and you can get some stuff back at the same time, that's all that matters.
But they're gonna but here's the problem. Both of the two J's, one wants to be the MVP of the league, and one wants to be the number one on this Boston Celtics. Neither one have the ability.
That's why I don't believe the Boston Celtics are done. I believe the Boston Celtics need to
sign Jaylen Brown.
I'm going to tell you this. Hear this out. Whatever you. I honestly do not like the signing because that means he can't be traded for a full out year. Okay. Yep. Which means once again, I'm going to get to this. I'm going to get to it. I do not believe that signing him is worth in 2024, 2025, having 75% of your cap going to two freaking guys, unless if you do that, you have to go all out this year and guarantee a championship, because at least when you can opt some of these other guys, you have an excuse for the downfall. Okay?
Well, I'm going to put it this way. That team has proven,
first and foremost,
Jalen, J&J do not have what it takes to be NBA champions. They've had 3 years, 3 opportunities, with one of them being in the championship when they got completely outclassed and outplayed by the Golden State Warriors. And then this year, they got outplayed and outball-sacked by the Miami Heat.
Yep. Who Jimmy Butler didn't do shit the last 3 games of the series, and they still lost to some guy who was an idiot that didn't even show up in the next round. I forget.
My point is to you is, and I think we're in agreement. Like, I myself around back. Like, I understand in the NBA you need to have a superstar on the team. I get that that's going to have to be Jason Tatum. I get that. To me, though, you don't trade, and I like Porzingis, but you've completely changed the identity of this team. There's no defense on this team anymore.
I think it does.
Get ready for
then you don't. Then you've never really.
Tell me, without Marcus Smart, who's the best defensive player? And if you say Robert Williams, yes.
No. Derek White is a great defender.
Without Marcus Smart, though, you You've changed.
Nah, I don't. I don't believe that. I think Jaylen Brown is a great defender. You're
I don't
talking
want him.
what?
I don't want him on the team.
I don't want Brown either. But the simple fact is Brown. Unless you're bringing me back somebody just as good, and I think the guy who fits perfectly with Jason Tatum all along has been send Brown back to where he's from, which is Atlanta, Georgia, and bring me some Trae Young and pair him up with Jason Tatum and Porzingis.
All right.
And yes,
so I'm going to float a hypothetical to you. Tell me if you would do this, and I think you probably would. But I'm going to float this hypothetical to you. Okay. There's a guy sitting in Portland named Damian Lillard.
He don't want to come here.
I know, but this is just a hypothetical spitball.
Yeah.
Why aren't the Celtics saying we'll give you Jaylen Brown, we'll give you Al Horford, and we'll give you Robert Williams. You give us Damian Lillard.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you this.
Because Brown then becomes the number one that he wants to be.
Yep. But he also the Trailblazers just drafted a guy, number 3 overall, that is the same type of same position as Brown. But hear this: if this never happened, I'd love to see Brown go to Portland, but I don't think they would do that to Al, because Al comes back on these 1-year deals specifically just to be with the Celtics. So I think if you send Al Horford, I think the Blazers themselves know that Al is not going to the Midwest.
I get that. The thing is,
yes, I would listen. If you're asking me, would I trade Brown for Lillard in some way, shape, and form? Yes, but knowing what we know about Lillard and his trade request, he has a
Miami.
He has a no trade clause. He has a no trade.
He wants to go to He's already said he wants to go to Miami.
There's some dude, Maxey. This or one of these players that's on the 76 that was on the 76ers. He's a mid-grade free agent. That's who the Celtics are talking about next. And in a perfect world, man, I think this opens up an opportunity to see what Malcolm Brogdon really is. But knowing now that
talking about trading Malcolm Brogdon,
listen, that was the shocking part. I thought when I heard Brown was gone, I'm not gonna lie.
You mean Smart was gone?
Smart was gone. I'm not gonna lie. I am one of the people I said that Marcus Smart was like our Draymond Green.
Yeah, he was.
But you want to know the thing is his attitude doesn't blend with the two guys that they drafted that are looked at to be the number 1 and number 2s on the team.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Okay.
And that's the sad thing.
Exactly. So now you just traded this dude to Memphis to go with you think these guys are bad? Wait till you run into Ja Morant. I heard he's during I heard during like halftime and stuff, you have to peel him off some of the coaches and stuff.
Speaking of coaches, give me a 1 minute assessment of Joe Mazzulla. Give you 1 minute. Give me a true 1 minute assessment.
There's a close friend of ours through wrestling, and I said it this way, and he didn't like it, but I said that Joe Mazzulla, I'll be honest with you, Joe Mazzulla is sackless. He's clueless. He, in probably 5 years, would be a great NBA coach, but he don't know shit from Shinola. He's lucky right now that the Celtics went out, and the Celtics really did. They got some impressive assistants to put on the bench behind them. In closing, I want everybody to go out and look that are Celtics fans. The Celtics slide came when Damon Stoudemire left the Celtics to take a job as the Georgia Tech head coach. Damon Stoudemire was the man who was really pushing the buttons to a certain extent as the guy who would get things over to the guys on the bench. He was the translator for Joe Mazzulla. And that was what a lot of people don't look at is that Mazzulla lost his right hand man halfway into the season. It's hard to readjust, you know what I mean? Especially since you're a first year guy. Listen, like you said, Montgomery, what'd he do? He inherited a roster of a guy who left here, couldn't do shit with it. And Montgomery brought it to the top. Okay? Did they win it? No, but what you want to say in hindsight was record breaking. It did things that the other guy couldn't do, but the other guy left here and won a Stanley Cup with his brand new team, but that's a whole new conversation. Anyways, Mazzulla was handed a team that was legitimately 5 minutes away from capturing an NBA championship. If you sat on the bench next to this guy, how are you not doing exactly what he did last year? You know why? Is because he's sackless. And the one thing about Ime Udoka, other than he couldn't keep his hands out of the cookie jar, is Udoka held you accountable. He wasn't afraid to get into the players' faces. A huge pull apart was because one time was because he got into Marcus Smart's face. He wasn't afraid to get into any of these guys' faces, call them out. Press conferences last year was so good. He wasn't afraid to call them out. Where in the years past you had passive Brad Stevens, who I'm going to say this. He's a great GM. He turned away with not only getting Porzingis, but he turned away with getting 4 more draft choices plus the one guy we got that's going to be a decent player, could end up being a decent player for the Celtics Hawks down the road. What?
For the Atlanta Hawks.
Who?
The kid that they drafted, they're trading.
So to who?
I believe it was to the Atlanta Hawks.
And what did the Hawks give us back?
I think more draft picks.
There we go. I love it.
Hello, Jeff Ferguson.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, buddy?
All right. Well, I'm gonna say that
it's very interesting. It's very interesting what the
I echo and I share the sentiments of Joe Mazzulla. So
I would have fired him, and as much as it pains me to say, I would have took my chances with an unexperienced ex-NBA player that has rings to flash. 2 of those guys do work. One used to work with the Celtics that just now solely works for ESPN, and you can see him every morning, every morning during the NBA season. One, Mr. Kendrick Perkins, and 2,
he's not coaching material.
And 2 would have been Eddie House.
Eddie House is coaching material. I don't think Kendrick Perkins is.
I'm just saying, even if
I would have given the job to Sam Cassell too.
Yes, I would have given. I would love to. Right. Cassell was here at one point in time, but anyways, yes, it's interesting to see what the Celtics will do from here on in, and I look forward to it.
Transitioning away from the Boston Garden, let's travel south to Gillette Stadium. We are on the brink of the new football season. We're a couple of weeks away from the full start of training camp. Couple things to tap into. One, do we, obviously DeAndre Hopkins is looming out there. What are our chances of signing him? I would say a 50-50. We can get into that real quick. A lot of pro analysts are saying that we're going to see a resurgence in Mac Jones under the tutelage of one Mr. Bill O'Brien. I want to get your thoughts on that, as well as Your thoughts on one move that just, I guess, recently happened, and another move that has been rumored to happen, not DeAndre Hopkins, that being the signing of Devontae Parker for an additional 3 years, and then the potential landing spot to with Dalvin Cook to offset, or Zeke Elliott to offset Ramondre Stevenson. So let's start with first things first. Let's start with DeAndre Hopkins. Do you envision that man wearing a Patriots uniform? Do you think it's going to happen?
All right.
What are the
So
chances?
here we go. So I think with the signing of Devontae Parker and that restructures this year's deal, so it actually frees up some cap space.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good sign. Okay. I think the Patriots would be fools if they don't put a good, they should offer him 12 million, 15 with incentives. And if all he wants is 1 year, that's great. Whatever. Give him 1 year. That's great. Give him the 1 year. Let him go back out on the market afterwards. Then we can test and see what we can get. And 2, I love the fact of the Patriots getting another style running back. And either that being Cook or Zeke to go with Ramondre, because the Patriots, the way that the Patriots play is an 80 styles offense. They run and they look to eat up the clock. That's 80 style. Yeah. So I do like the fact of the running back coming in.
The running game sets up the passing game.
Yes. And I like the signing of Parker. It frees things up.
Okay.
If Parker can stay healthy and can prove his worth to it, it makes the deal even that much better.
All right. So what are the actual chances? Give me a percentage chances you honestly think we have of signing DeAndre Hopkins. Give me percentage chance here. What's your gut feeling?
75% that he's on with the Patriots, and it doesn't have to do with the luster of being the Patriots way. It has the fact that he actually has respect for Bill Belichick and a guy like that, to me, I believe the fact that he wants to be coached by him just to say he was coached by Bill Belichick.
Okay.
If that makes any sense at all.
I'm at about a 60% chance. I think his goal is to try to wait it out, because I think he knows if he comes here, he's going to have to practice.
Yep.
And I think that's a thing for him. I agree. I think he has a massive respect for Belichick. It's well documented. He knows Bill O'Brien's system. I think the allure of playing with Mac Jones maybe is, he has a chance to play with a young, potentially stud running future quarterback. And if he could be the guy that brings Mac Jones out, it only makes him look better per se. But I also think that the longer he goes without signing, the percentage drops, because you never know what's going to happen in a team like, let's say, the Minnesota Vikings. They say, hey, let's bring him in. And he looks at the Vikings like they have a better chance at winning having a chance to go in the bowl. Maybe he goes there, but
I don't think it's a team. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's a team like the Vikings that scares me. I think it's a team like Kansas City who just restructured a few things around that says, hey, come and talk to us, DeAndre. Oh, yeah, or Buffalo.
Especially with Stephon Diggs not going to any of the mandatory camps.
Yep.
All right, so
and then your thing was the Mac resurgent with Bill O'Brien.
No, I want to get into that. So people are saying that Mac Jones under Bill O'Brien's tutelage, is going to have a a good third year in the league. What are your thoughts, your opinions? Do you think that's bullshit? Do you think that it's not bullshit? What do you think?
All right. So, Mac Jones' rookie year. I used to say to people, and man, when you met me, I was a season ticket holder at the New England Patriots, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So would it be right to say that I watch a lot of New England Patriots football? Correct.
Yep.
Okay. When a guy number 12 took over, his nickname was Dink and Dunk Tom, check down Tom.
Yep.
Okay. All of a sudden, people's brains, all people that New England Patriots fans can remember, is that couple years with Randy Moss that Brady threw the cover off the frickin' ball. Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Troy Brown, they didn't catch the ball long. They were all over the middle, slice and dice. It was the yak, the yards after the catch that was the allure and the big numbers with those guys.
Okay.
So to get what I'm talking about, people thought I was fucking nuts when I said he reminds me of Brady. And that doesn't mean that he reminds me of Brady because he wins. He reminded me of Brady because of the exactly where the ball went, and it just, to me, it just showed that Belichick in the coach's room did the same thing with Brady, or the same type of coaches said, this is what you look for. This is what you look for. So he already had the answers to the test, just like Brady. So, yes, I believe that, and I know it's on the 1 year anniversary of the first program we did. I said, Capelli, let Gazoo, let's just give it a chance. Let's see two guys who are head coaches. Let's see what they can do with them in second year. It fucking killed them. It did.
Does Mac Jones have the ability to
totally
bounce back
killed
from
him.
that? Yes,
I let that. I'm going to say this. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Are you ready for this
being
one?
is because do you believe that he honestly forgot the playbook? O'Brien's offense is basically the same offense
As
that
McDaniels.
The Patriots ran when he first got here.
Yep. Let me ask you this question.
You know what I'm saying? Yep.
If Mac Jones turns into a top 10 quarterback in the league, and let's be honest, top 5's tough, but can he be top 10? Yeah, maybe. If he turns into
top 12, top 12,
top 12. Say top 12, right? Does that then, if that is done under the tutelage of Bill O'Brien, and Bill Belichick is likely done in 2-3 years max, does Bill O'Brien become is that Bill O'Brien's path to coaching the team he grew up watching, the team he grew up loving, and the organization he loves? Because
seeing how he's from New Hampshire,
he's born and bred here. He's loved this team. He played here. I mean, not played here. He coached here. He's come back. And you know how the crafts are. What if Mac Jones is successful? Is that the pathway for him to become the next head coach of the New England Patriots?
All right. So I would say yes, but what has been promised to Gerard Mayo?
I don't know. Again,
a lot of people are saying the reason why Mayo is around is because behind closed doors, he is being promised that he will be the next head coach of the New England Patriots once Bill Belichick decides to step away?
Well, if the Patriots have, and, and I think when we next convene up in our cheap seats, we will probably likely discuss have a massive. It will be probably centered around preseason. We'll have a big preseason talk like we did last year. We'll
Yeah.
make our predictions and such. But I think that if the Patriots were to have a somewhat successful season, I don't think Gerard Mayo stays around another season. I think he takes a head coaching job.
Oh,
That's my
yes.
opinion. That's my opinion.
I would believe that. I would believe that because you can only do so much with
Belichick is here,
continuous blocking, with the continuation of blocking him from
Yep.
grabbing jobs
Yep.
elsewhere.
and Belichick is here until he wins, until he breaks the record. Belichick is here as head coach.
So, do you count the COVID year with Cam Newton as this being the fourth year after Tom Brady?
You have to. You have to. I hate to say it, but you can't use COVID as the excuse anymore. Yes, it's the fourth year after Tom Brady.
Okay, so if this is the fourth year after Tom Brady, technically, which it is technically, yes, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think the way COVID was that one year, I'm willing to write that year off.
And
But, if there's no playoffs this year, I would not mind seeing this be the last hurrah for Bill Belichick. Because then it will,
isn't why I'm saying that.
hold up.
Because...
No, the reason why is because Bill Belichick, the big talk has been, the discussion has been the 4-year plan that he's talked about. He had a 4-year plan with the Cleveland Browns. He had a 4-year plan when he first came in with the New England Patriots. It's a big interview, and he talks about
I know all about it.
He talks about his 4 years. But anyways, the reason why I'm saying the 4-year is this year after losing your franchise quarterback. Do you count this as really being a fourth year after the rebuild?
You have to. They did business.
Okay.
You have to. Business went on as usual. They made
I myself.
No.
I don't.
You can't make the excuse for him.
But if this year does not have another playoff year, I can really see. I don't see how Robert Kraft can let this continuously go on anymore. Because Robert Kraft's not getting any older. And if he thinks that, like, the New England fan is going to, like, I think after this, just like I said, I don't mind seeing them blow up the Celtics. Because if it ain't working, why not try something new? As long as you don't dismantle yourself, that's all that matters. I mean, it even comes to the point where, hey, Jason Tatum, listen, we're building the team around you, and you tell Jaylen Brown we're going to facilitate a great trade for you. Jason, who do you want on your team? Once you know what I'm saying.
Well,
right. So either way, I believe it's great to be able to dictate who you want on your team. Just like Mac Jones being able to say, man, that'd be nice to be able to throw to DeAndre Hopkins. But the thing is, Mac's so young, he really can't say that. Mac should just shut the hell up and do his job and throw whoever to whoever he can. And this is I want you to hear this right now. I believe with the offense going back to the way it is, I believe Kendrick Bourne is going to have a breakout year. And the reason being is he'll have a breakout year, especially if Hopkins is not signed for the Patriots. You heard it right here. DeAndre Hopkins has a big year. We're not talking about the biggest thing. We're not talking about the gun incident.
No, I don't even want to talk about it. it's not worth talking about. I'd rather talk about the things that actually impact the game, and it does, but I don't want to talk about the Jack Jones thing.
He's slated right now to be your number 2 quarterback. How does that not impact the Patriots defense?
It's just not something I want to talk about, honestly. I'd rather move on to something that's, as much as I don't want to talk about it, about the minor league ballpark team that plays at Fenway Park that gets blown out fucking by the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins, whatever team they are. But I'd rather talk about the Red Sox than talk about Jack Jones, that incident. You know what? Save the Jack Jones talk for when we do when we focus on that next show, when we kind of we'll go deep into the Patriots, mega focus on the Patriots.
So I'm going to say this one thing. I already know your feelings on the Red Sox.
No. Okay? I want to talk about them because I sent you a text message. Hear me out. Yeah. I sent you a text message, and I said, I am unwillingly admitting I started watching. And I'm going to tell you, I already started shutting it off again. And I'm going to be honest with you. And again, it goes back to, it's not the players. Although I'll be honest with you, if you named, I couldn't name, other than the few that played the last couple of years, there's only one Red Sox player that I could name, and it's the only one that I have any interest in, and it's the pitcher Bello. Yeah. Other than that, all I know is Alex Verdugo, Kike Hernandez, and Rafael Devers. I couldn't tell you another player on the team because it's not a team worth watching. It's not it's not a team. It's enjoyable. It's not enjoyable.
Yeah. Listen, to me, I'm a different type of Red Sox fan, and I understand your frustration.
How can you not be frustrated?
Buddy, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
And
but
you know what it feels like, Jay? It feels like
I didn't
going shopping. You got to go shopping for your furniture, and instead of shopping at a regular store or even a superstore, you're shopping at Building 19.
Yeah.
You're buying used shit equipment. And I'm trying to put this into $1 million home and say, look how good my home is. And it's not working.
That's why he's not going to get that's why the best thing you could pray for right now is the Red Sox continue to fall and that he doesn't get extended. That's the best thing we can pray for.
How could any... And again,
John Henry's very
John Henry.
John Henry and it's not even John Henry. Can I tell you? A lot of it has to do with the idiot Sam Kennedy.
He's the guy that pushes Henry as much as I blame Chaim Bloom, as much as I blame Sam Kennedy. So John Henry is the boss.
He is the reason why I can watch what I can watch is because I'm a baseball fan. I enjoy I've been watching the Red Sox avidly since I was 5-6 years old. I remember back in the day only when they were on TV 38 and I would stay up late night just to watch their games because a lot of the home games, unless it was a Saturday or Sunday, weren't on Channel 38. Only the away games were until you got cable and Nesson came along. So, I mean, I sat through some of the worst Red Sox baseball I'd known to fucking man.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I look at it this way. We could have had a worse 25 years of Red Sox baseball. Okay, we could have had a hell of a lot worse 25 years than what we've had here. Is it an excuse right now for what's going on? No. But like I said, is we could have had a worse 25 freaking years and we haven't. We've had a good 25 years under this ownership.
I will say this. We had a good first 17 to 18 years under this ownership, but the last 7 to 8 have not been great. The Red Sox have finished in last place.
So 2018 having won a World Series is
2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. What have they done in the last 5 years?
They got rid of
listen.
I'm not gonna the franchise. You're absolutely right. Is in shambles. Okay. Do I believe that they need to find an owner with a brand new heart for this franchise?
And that'll never happen. You know that.
Yep. You bet your ass I do.
You know he's never selling this organization.
Do I believe that Chaim Bloom needs to go? Yes, I do.
Does Alex Cora need to go?
Did I not tell you from the beginning that this team was no better than a 500 team?
You told me from the beginning they would be in the playoffs, that the start of the season doesn't matter. Hold on, let me finish.
I did say that. I did say that, but I said
who was wrong.
I didn't say that. I did. But what you're not hearing is, okay, so 1 week ago, hear me out. 1 week ago, before the Chicago series, they were 3 games out of a wild card spot. That's what I meant by they would be in a playoff race. And I told you point blank the Red Sox would finish 2 games at most over 500. And that would be good enough to be in, quote unquote, what is deemed nowadays a playoff race.
And it's not. It's not. 2 games over 500 ain't getting them in the playoffs.
Nope, it's not. But what I'm saying is they'd be in a race. I guarantee when you look at the 3rd spot this year, it's going to be like an 84 to an 86 game at most win. So if the Red Sox do finish 82 and 80, theoretically, to the spotted mind, and I'm not saying to my mind it's pleasurable, but to other cities that's measurable. Something like that, in all honesty, could be one of the worst things that could possibly happen to the Boston Red Sox because that gives Chaim Bloom ammunition at the end of the year to say, look what I did, and look at how good the farm system is.
Yeah,
and and I'll be honest with you, as much as I enjoy, I'm bummed out there's a rain delay. To me, the Red Sox have been interested. To you, maybe not. I've enjoyed watching the Sox with some of the names that I don't really notice and some of the mistakes they made. It's just like you. What if the next 2 to 3 years, hypothetically, that the moves that Don Sweeney has done makes the Boston Bruins like a teeter-totter the next couple of years. Like
I had that a couple of years ago.
No, I know, but I'm talking like going for like a 2-3 year span where they're not able to do shit.
I lived those days just like you did with the Red Sox.
I know. So,
I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't not be happy.
Yes. I'm not.
I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy.
I'm not happy because I know that at least Henry, to a certain extent, will have to get rid of this fucking idiot. So if
they make the playoffs, though, he won't. That's what I'm afraid of. And you're right.
That's why I'm saying if they don't even need to fit, they don't even need to make the playoffs. Like I said, all they need to do is finish 82 and 80 and have him justify saying, well, the last wild card team had 85 wins. That's only 3 games out of, you know what I'm saying? Which gives him that's what I mean. That's what I mean. And the point that I try to make is I'm a Red Sox fan no matter who the owner is, okay? The owner before this was one of the most racist motherfuckers to ever fucking roam planet Earth in the army.
But nobody cared.
Yeah, I understand that. That's why I don't care.
Yeah.
And this dude, all he's enamored with is buying sports teams everywhere.
True.
Just like he'll be buying a sports team that will be relocating in 2 years when LeBron retires after playing LeBron will play 2 more years. 1 more year wherever he goes now, but his second year when he decides that it's all over, I'm telling you right now that ownership group is going to buy an NBA franchise, and that franchise is moving to Vegas. And
Okay.
I believe I believe before it's all said and done, that's why I was very surprised. Like, he almost owned the Washington Redskins.
I know.
You know what I mean? And right now, they're not going to get him. Rumor had it that they want his group in soccer over in England. They were up for that Mbappe dude, the world's best player right now. But that was only rumor had it. Supposedly he's cleaning house there too.
Yep.
Which is funny. So, anyways, to come in fact, yes, I love the Red Sox. Do I love their ownership group? No, I'm not in love with their ownership group at this time. Am I happy that the ownership group came aboard at one point in time? Yes, I am, because they gave me things that I never thought I would ever see in my wildest dreams. I met John Henry. He's the biggest dickhead I ever met. I thanked him for the world title. He was like, yeah, open the door. And I was a valet when I was doing valet parking. I was me and my buddy Mike, not Mike Bergen, one of the kids that used to do the extra acting with. We were valets parkers for a special party that had the guy from Chronicle, and that's how we got tickets to the Patriots game. We met Robert Kraft and him, and it's so funny. Robert rolled up in a limo alone, and then Myra rolled up in a limo alone. That's the way they always traveled. They traveled separately, which was I found kind of funny. But anyways, other than that, I'm a true diehard Red Sox fan. I would love to see them make the playoffs. I would love to see them continue to be relevant, but I honestly believe that if that was to happen, we're stuck with Bloom for even longer, and that could be a huge detriment for years and years to come. So I'm not going to say that, like, I just don't understand why people want to. I can understand, like, yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan through and through, and I will watch no matter what.
Okay. Where do they finish? Last question.
Where do they finish? Okay.
What is going to be the? What is gonna,
I know this is going to.
I know what you're going to say. They're going to finish 82-80.
Okay. The Red Sox are going to finish 82-80.
You fucking cheap bastard.
And the Yankees are going to finish 81-81 because Judge ain't coming fucking back. He's going to go for toe surgery. He's never going to be able to resurge. And the Yankees are going to go. As much as Stiff Mike don't want to say it, it's not because I'm a Yankees hater. But right now, and it's not because the Red Sox swept them and the Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from them. It's because I believe their momentum is headed down. And this is the one point that I will make to you, that at least the Red Sox are able to beat the AL East this time around. Because do you know how long it took for them to get a series win versus an AL East opponent?
I don't know. No, they still seem to do too well against Tampa Bay or Baltimore.
No, listen. Tampa Bay. Nobody's doing good against Tampa Bay, for crying out loud. Nobody. And Baltimore is good, man. Baltimore is good. Baltimore should be good. All their years of drafting where they have, Baltimore is a good team. That's why it's so funny. Like, Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh, Miami. Dude, these teams have started to draft well and develop well. Sooner or later, they're going to end up having some good stuff. The result of having Derek Jeter around them for 3 years is the result of their farm system being better because Derek Jeter was able to bring in some really good people. And Jeter's not with the Marlins anymore, but those people that were with him are still there.
All right.
Just like a former Dave Dombrowski executive who was with the Red Sox at one time, he's with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's why the Pirates are doing so well with their minor league development.
How's San Diego doing this year?
Oh, San Diego is awesome, man.
Yeah,
Woo!
hey,
That's
wait, just to end this, wasn't there? They have a shortstop that
begging to come back to
used
Boston.
To play for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah,
that's right. We won't talk about that one.
Yep, but you also heard what came out today.
No.
Oh, it was written out there that quite possibly he's sort of regretting his move to San Diego at this point in time.
Yeah,
it's because he's with the buddy. I'll be honest with you. I think it's going to be very hard to get that many egos, and it's not his ego.
Yeah, Soto
I hear Soto is that's why the Nationals did that. Nationals was so happy to give him away. Soto got an attitude. Tatis got an attitude. Manny Machado got a freaking attitude. That's why I think those three right there are cancers. Wow. And quite possibly was a stupid move for fucking Bogarts. And at least if the Red Sox didn't want to give him what he wanted, he could have went back at him with half, and I think it would have happened. But you're right. The Red Sox, at least we kept 1 or 2. With the way that Tristan Casas has looked, am I really that high on Marcelo Mayer? Well, knowing for the fact that he's up in Portland right now.
What do you have in your ear?
What?
You said you had something in your ear?
Marcelo Mayer.
Oh. You want to put Mossy in your ear. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, players I never heard of.
He's supposed to be the prospect at shortstop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of shortstop,
you don't know. No. Do you don't really know any? Do you know anything about him at all?
I know that that the guy that Chaim Bloom wants the Red Sox to play shortstop is not the guy that Alex Cora wants to have the Red Sox play shortstop.
Yeah.
And there is a huge issue there.
Well, no, Bloom does not want for Kike at shortstop.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Who's some guy Reyes?
Reyes. Yeah, it's the guy they got for a trade, and he was doing pretty decent the first 2 weeks with the Red Sox.
Yeah, and then Alex Cora said he's not an everyday ball player. But Chaim Bloom told Alex Cora he starts at shortstop.
Yep. So we'll end it like this. Alex Cora. No, I don't believe we'll be here at the end of the Red Sox season. I think Alex Cora will be off to newer and better things.
He'll be coaching high school. Not high school. He'll be coaching college, Division I.
Saying the University of Miami reached out to him.
No, I think it was Georgetown.
I heard it was the University of Miami.
Maybe it was Miami. I thought it was Georgetown. Maybe it is Miami.
Him returning back to his hometown.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard that they want him to take over the whole program.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised. And you know another thing I wouldn't be surprised?
What's that?
Is if Alex Cora is the one that replaces Chaim Bloom up in the front office and Cora becomes the GM.
That ain't going to happen. No, John Henry will give us John Henry. Maybe John Henry will hire Mario Lemieux or or LeBron James to be the next GM. Or Mbappe. Mbappe can be the next GM.
Oh, there's
Fuck.
been talk.
I'll take Bozo the fucking clown.
There's been talks about Cora moving upstairs.
I'll take Bozo the fucking clown for $100, Mr. Trebek. Please. Thank you.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up doing that. I would not be surprised at all if they ended up putting Alex Cora upstairs as the new GM.
Well, we'll see.
Because Bloom.
So, I think we need to reconvene in a couple of weeks, and let's get together maybe mid to end July. We'll have the Patriots preseason from you and I can go to the cheap seats, the top section of the back corner of Gillette Stadium and really be those armchair GMs for the football season.
Yeah. So I'd like to save the wrestling talk for
yeah, that's fine.
Behind the curtain.
Yep.
But there's one thing that I do want to just talk about, and I want to throw one question out at you.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you noticed a drastic change since the beginning of Triple H's takeover to now?
All right. It's kind of a twofold. I saw it was more of like a tidal wave. I think the tidal wave has turned into a wave. I think that the wind was taken out of his sails with having Vince still have some say into what goes on in changing scripts here and there, even though, I know it's more of a 75-25 at this point. It's Hunter. I think he's done well. I think he's been handcuffed a little bit. He's also made a couple of bad decisions, I think. I think Hit Row is going to wind up being one of those decisions that'll bite him in the ass. But I think, overall, though, he's done the right things, especially with LA Knight. LA Knight is going to be, and we could talk about this on Friday, he is the next, and I don't mean it this way, he's the next Steve Austin in the sense that he's an older guy who's coming on strong later in life, who is going to have immense just it factor. And I think Triple H is smart to realize that. I think he sees it. I think you're starting to see better things with Triple H in some of his booking. I also think you're seeing some of the lack of knowing what to do with certain people when they can't get over. Like Bailey, like Io Shirai or Io Sky. But I think overall, I give Triple H, I'm giving him a solid B+ to an A-. And I think part of the reason why is because he is not in quote unquote complete control. But I think it has been a very good changing of the guard per se. It was the right thing for the WWE at the right time.
So then you would believe some of the articles that have come out, especially Sean Raps or Ross, I believe it is, that comes out with a lot of stuff that, especially him when it comes to the script rewrites, and it seemed just like over the past month or so that you see more of this was rewritten and this script was rewritten, whereas when Triple H first took over, there wasn't as many articles on that.
There wasn't place. So what I know is him, Nick Khan, and then he's got what's his face? He's got not Ed Ferreira. What the hell's his name? Jeremy Borash.
Yes.
And a few other people. They don't like it when they write the script, and I think. They think like, you and I come from that same era of writing and booking. we wrote a script. That was a script. We thought about it in advance. We thought about the different layers that we wanted to layer in when we were writing for NWA and the various things that we were doing. And how many times did when we started rewriting scripts that shit didn't go as you're like, what the fuck after? And other times when we didn't, and that's that mentality that Triple H has and Nick Khan and those guys is they write the script, they think about it, they say, this is what we're doing. And I think, much like we talked about at the start of the show with player coaches, I feel like that they're more in tune and adapt. They're more creative. They're more a worker's creative writer than Vince. Vince is more of it's my way or the highway. I don't, I'll take your input, but this is what I think's going to sell. Versus with Triple H, it's one of those things where it's, hey, here's the idea. Well, Hunter, let me throw this at you. And if Hunter thinks about, okay, I like that. How can I incorporate that while keeping this gimmick? And he works with the wrestlers versus, I think, more of the last minute changes and you're just going to do what I say bullshit. The wave is definitely diminished for him because of Vince's influence still and his dabbling. But it's still a positive. Extreme positive, in my opinion. I think Triple H's writing blows the doors off of anything AEW when it comes to quote-unquote storylines is trying to write. And
we'll get into that tomorrow night, but I think AEW's Wednesday night show, Friday night, I believe when their Wednesday night show has improved, and I believe their 2 collision shows that they've just had because of the writing crew that they're utilizing with Daniel Bryan, bringing Jimmy Jacobs aboard, who was a WWE writer. So I think that I'm not sure if you've watched any of the collision shows, but AEW's on to something, man, and it may not be what you're on to or whatever, but
no, they're on to the more realistic. They're trying to blur the lines between wrestling and realism. Like I liked the interviews that Adam Cole. We'll get into this on Friday. Yeah, Adam Cole and MJF had. I liked the CM Punk dig to the Young Bucks. His comment towards the Bucks with some of that stuff. The problem is at the end of the day, I think it definitely appeals to a different type of audience. But, when you're watching WWE, you're expecting more of a story versus.
I'll get into it without a doubt. And I
think Triple H has nailed it. I think he nailed it.
Listen, like I said, and I believe this, I thought AEW needed to be more like UFC, where it was like you're putting matches more or less, and you're watching it for the action of the match. You're not essentially watching it for the storyline, because I believe you can invest. I believe there's a story no matter what the 2 competitors are. The story is one man is trying to beat the other, and you can get invested off of watching the way they sell, watching the way they do their moves. So I believe there's a whole different way to watch that you could watch AEW. That's the way I envisioned it, as a dream company, so to speak. And the funny thing is at their Forbidden Door, they're in bed with New Japan, while theoretically, even though the WWE is not in bed with them, WWE concentrated on Europe. If you've noticed that, they concentrated on Europe and not going to Japan as much. They basically took over a whole European market without taking over a Japanese market, and have now implicated a lot of these European, so to speak, wrestlers after the demise of NXT UK into their programming. And I think a lot of it works out for the simple fact that you can, as much as the English accent at time is nerving to me, I believe that the investment of the promo and character is a much is a much has a better payout because the wrestling fan can invest with that person because the English is that much better for them to understand.
Well, let's talk about that on Friday.
All right. Well,
All right,
that is
brother.
good. All right. Well, to everyone out there, it's been a while. Happy 1 year anniversary. And on Friday night, it'll be the second edition of Behind the Curtain with the Gazoo, Rumble, and
Sticky fingers.
Sticky Fingers. We'll see you Friday night. And
Stay tuned for keep an eye on the network. We'll announce when we're doing our next from the cheap seats. And
yeah, absolutely.
we will be talking preseason NFL Patriots football, and most likely I'll get dragged into a Red Sox conversation, but
yeah,
we'll deal with it then.
We'll probably be talking about how they were half a game's under 500. So, anyways, with that being said, I am Rumble.
I am the Gazoo.
And once again, we talked sports
better than